Welcome back. So to be able to set up the theme, right, let us do it right from this time. And we need to create a contest, right? So inside the root, I'm going to create a file. So I just click file, where I just say contest, then slash theme dash contest. So theme contest.tx. So in here, we're going to use contest provider, right? Okay, so first, let me just get some types. So I'll just say theme type should be, we either have light, right, or dark, and we can even have system. So system. Okay. What's this? I don't think I'll. Okay. So interface theme contest type. So the theme will be of this type, and the set theme. Okay. That's, and I think we also have is maybe is dark, right? Which will also be a boolean. Okay, so that's fine. So now we can say that sport cons team contest. Okay, so okay, great. So team contest, and we're going to use contest. So import this contest API from React, and now we're passing these types that we've created to it, right? Okay, so here, and it will accept. So we'll accept this props. We'll accept the type, right? And by default, we're setting it to system. Okay, which is same here. We also have the set theme, and this should also be false. Okay, so I think that should be pretty fine. Okay, so theme, what is the issue? Okay, it's saying that system is not assignable to type, theme type. Okay. This should be one /. Okay, sorry, one bar, not /. Okay, so let's now say a sport cons. Let's say team provider. Team provider. Okay, so team provider will accept children. Okay, so something like this. So you accept children, and the children will be a React node. Okay, so React is React node. So we have it. So now what we can do is that we can also say cons system color, system color scheme. Okay, so just say system color scheme. Then we're going to use something called use color scheme from React Native. Okay, so this will help us to get the system color scheme. Okay, so now we also say cons theme. So we need to create a state variable and set theme. Okay, which will be a use state. So make sure use state is also imported, and it will have the type of theme type. Okay, so okay, theme type. Okay, like this. Okay, so by default, I'm going to set it to system. Okay, right. So whatever system you have, then on your system, the color theme of your system, if it's dark, we'll set it to default to dark. Okay, great. So now I am going to say cons is dark, right? Let's determine whether it is dark or not. Okay, I think Keza is being helpful. Let me make it this way. So we'll check, is theme equal to system? If theme is equal to system, then we'll check the system color scheme, right? To see whether the system color scheme is also dark. Okay, so we'll check if it is equal to system, then we'll use this color scheme to check the system color scheme. If it's dark, then this will be true, else then theme should, then we'll check if the theme is also equal to dark. Okay, I hope you understand. So first we check if this is equal to the system, right? We've selected the system. If we select the system, then we'll have to detect whether the system color scheme is equal to dark. If it's equal to dark, then this will be true. If it's not, then we'll check whether theme itself is also equal to dark, right? Then this will be true. Okay. So now we can use a use effect. So use effect. So just like this, and we'll have a dependency. So use effect will have this callback function, and this is called the dependency here. Okay, so the dependency will be the theme. Whenever the theme changes, we'll run this use effect. Okay, right. Now, here I am not going to do this, so maybe you can do this where you can store the theme to your local storage or something like that. Okay, but I'm not going to do it. So here I'll just want to return. So I'm going to return the theme, theme contest. So theme contest dot provider. Okay, here. Okay, and this one needs to come with values. So I'm going to say values. Okay, so the value will be this. We'll have the theme itself, and we'll also have the SDAC, right? Okay, then we'll have the set theme also. Okay, and inside this, oh, this ought to be theme contest, not theme contest type. So inside this, then I'll put the children here. Okay, so make sure this is TXS. The extension is TSS, not TX. Okay, great. So yes, like this, right? Okay, so now everything should be work. And now let's create a hook where we can use this thing. So I'll just call it use theme. Okay, so in the use theme, okay, we can just destructure this. So we'll just say that contest. Maybe I can just say contest should be equal to use contest. Okay, from React. Okay, where I'll pass in the theme contest that we have, which is up there, right? This one, I'll pass in the contest. And now we can check if there is no contest, right? We can just say if there is no contest means that you cannot use this hook. This hook must be used within the contest, right? Okay, so meaning we need to wrap our app around the provider before we can use this. Okay, if we don't do that, we can use this hook. If it's true that we wrapping it around and we're using it inside the provider, then we can return whatever value is in the contest. Okay. Okay, so that is it. And what we can do is just go inside this layout here. So let's do the setup in our layout file here. Okay. So in this layout, we'll do a bunch of stuff here. So what I want to do is this root layout, right? First, we will use Clerk, but until then, let's just use our theme provider and make sure you import from the contest and not from navigation, React navigation, right? So contest here, and now we can pass in the stack. Okay, so like this. Okay, so since we are here, maybe we can just set it up. So I'm going to create another layout. Let me just say function layout. Okay, so here I'm going to return something called slot, which is also from React Native, right? And here, instead of stack, I'll return the layout that we've created up here. Okay, maybe is it even necessary here? I'm not sure. We'll need the theme. Okay, so maybe we can have it here. So okay, let's keep it for now. So here, let's work on this page. Okay, great. So here we will need we don't need this here, and we will not also need this here. I don't think it will be needed. What will be needed is the theme itself, whether it's dark or not, right? Okay, so we can also remove this. Okay, so here now, if you see, you can see that if I remove all of these styles, right here, you can see where the content is going. The content is going up here. And if you have a notch, right? Yeah, the notch area, some of the content might be hidden behind the notch. How can we fix that? Okay, there's something called save area view. Now you can see that there are two save area view, one from React Native save area view contest, and there's another one from React Native. Let's use this one instead, right? Okay, so make sure you import this one from the save area view contest, this one, which will by default push your app below the notch. Okay, great. So if you're viewing it on your phone, I think you'll see that one better. Okay, great. So this here, and now I'll remove this styling and use this, and it's going to be template string. So first, okay, so I'm going to check if it's dark, then I'm just going to use a different color. So I'll just bring my color, which will be this, and I'll just say hash, then put this color here, right? Else it should be white. Okay, that's fairly simple. And we can also see that it should be flex 1 so that it will take the entire screen. Okay, great. So the entire screen has been taken, and now the text is also white. That's why you can't see. If I change this to black, I think you should be able to see something. Okay, great. So yeah. Now you can also see that there is something called status bar here. Now this here, where you have your, those icons and stuff, it's called a status bar. And we can even change the behavior of the status bar by using what Expo provide as status bar, right? So import from Expo. Okay, so okay, import this from Expo status bar, not from React Native. Let me see if, okay. I believe it's already installed because I think it's part of the default things. So Expo status bar is here. Okay, great. So import it. And now we can check, right? We can check the theme and do some changes. So we check the star and say that if it's dark, okay, so maybe should I import this one here, or I should import it up there? Okay, let me take this one here. So here I'm gonna wrap it in a fragment. Okay, great. So fragment. Okay, and make sure before you can use a fragment, make sure you've imported from React. Okay, you've imported React, so return. Okay, great. Okay, so now I'm going to put the status bar here. Okay, so now you see. So I'm saying that if it's dark, then I want the status to be light, else I want it to be dark, right? Okay, so yeah. So if I change this to also dark, you can see, sorry, no. Oh, this is light. If I also change this to light, okay, see something? So you can see that it's now white and you cannot see it, right? Okay, great. So this way should be fine. Okay. So now we come back here. And inside here, now that we have this, we can remove this test and now put something called a view, which I told you the equivalent can be like a div. And make sure view is also imported from React Native. Okay. So we can also give some classes to this. All we need to say is that flex of 1 to take the entire screen. Okay. Now we can have the logo. So I'm just going to say this, another view. And inside that view, I'll have an image also from React Native, okay, which is self-closing. And I'm just going to bring my assets, right? So I'm going to bring my images. Okay, so I'll just bring the images, delete this one and just override. Oh yeah, delete this and just put the new one. So inside the asset, I'll just say paste images. It's here. Okay. Great. So in here, I'll just say, yeah, image. So the image will also have something called source, not SRC, but source. Okay, so I'm just going to say required, then add. So you can check from the TS config here. You can see that we're using this to refer to the root path, right? Okay, so like from Nest.js kind of things, right? So we go inside it from asset, then images, then we have, do I have something called logo? No, it's supposed to be chat. No, so chat.png. Okay, and I think you can see an image here. Okay, so let's start it. So this, I'm going to say items should be center. Items to center. There's no need of justify, and I'm going to push it margin top to 20. Okay. Now the image, let's also start the image. So I'm going to say the width should be 90%. Okay, great. And a height of also 200 pixels. Let me break it down. A height of 200 pixels. Okay, brilliant. I'm just going to say rounded dash 2XL and margin bottom of also 10. Okay. Okay, so now it has been positioned here. And now, as I told you, that everything related to test must be inside the text, and make sure it's also imported from React Native. Okay, so test, I'm just going to say welcome to, oh, not ChatGPT. Okay, welcome to chapter. Okay, so this is the styles, and I think we need to, let me make it dynamic because we need to check if it's dark, right? So yeah, so if it's dark, we're just going to say the text should be white, and if it's light, the text should be dark. And a font of 2x, that's pretty fine. A font of 2x, the text should be bold, and this center, that's true. That's very nice. And we can also have a test below this test. So I'm just going to say test, and we'll have this test, right? And I'm also going to give some classes. Okay, so also here that if it's dark, it should be this and that. Okay, the text should be small and also be in center. Okay, maybe one thing that I can do here is I'm just going to say PS of 12, right, to give a pattern here, right? Great. And it's a small, even it looks pretty small, so I'm going to say base. Okay, great. And there is something called test dash pretty. Let me see if it will look nice. Okay, I'm not seeing changes, but anyway, let's keep it like that. Okay, so that's it for the top part. And now we can go to the down part. So here, logo. Okay, so now we can come down here and also have another div. Okay, sorry, I'm sorry. View, not a div. Okay, so here, what I'm going to say, it should be absolute, and width of full, and px of 6, right? Okay, and the bottom of 10. Okay, so we need to go to down, and here I'm just going to say touchable opacity. So make sure you import touchable opacity from React Native. Okay, so touchable opacity, and inside it we can have a test that says continue with Google. Okay, I think we're going to modify this styling. Okay, so here I'm going to use a template string. Okay, okay, so I'm saying that if it's dark, the bottom should have a BG color of this. Okay, so if it's dark, I'm just going to put this color. Yes, and if it's if dark is true, and here should be white. Okay, great. Okay, so something is missing. Okay, that's fine. And what again do I need to do? Maybe here I can just say pardon, maybe PS PY instead. Okay, and I can also even give a margin bottom of 4, right, to push it down. Okay, and I think there's an issue with this styling. Okay, let me remove these styles and see. Oh, okay, so the other end is missing. Okay, so yeah, why is this thing that does not exist on theme? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, so I now see the issue. I had imported this from this React Native. That's why we're not getting the warning message. Great, so here, great. Okay, so I think everything should be fine now. So we have it here. Okay, however, I also want to use some styles here. okay, which I'm not going to do with Tailwind. So, okay, so I'm just saying a shadow of color of this, right? And elevation. So, so I'm going to say it's dark. If it's dark, the elevation should be 0. If not, then 2. Okay, so let's see. So you can see some shadow, right? Great. And I think the rest should be pretty cool. Width 0, height 0. Let me make the height 1. And here of 0.2 should be fine. And the shadow radius of maybe just 3 should be fine. Okay, great. So something like this. Okay, and we also need to add an icon. So before the test, I also bring an icon. So I have inside the asset, I have the Google icon already. So, okay, so I think that's fine. Let's see. Okay, great. Okay, great. So now let's make this thing flex. So I'm going to say flex row. Great. This, and I'm going to say justify to center, right? And items to also center. That's fine. Okay, so that is it. And I'm just going to copy these terms and just put it below this here. Okay, so here I'm just saying terms and conditions, right? Okay, so you can put anything of choice there. It doesn't actually do anything, that's all. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty simple, right? Okay, so yeah, in the next section, we will try to now set up our Clerk and know how we can sign up. Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, so just go to clerk.com, right? Sign up or log in if you have an account already, and just create a new app. So I'll just create a new app here, and I'm just going to say chat.yt, right? And I'll make sure I select, okay, so I'm not going to sign in with email and password. Maybe, no, I'm not going to do, okay, I'll just use Google. Okay, great. And now here, we need to select the framework, and we are using Expo. So select Expo, make sure you click on Expo, right? And saying that we need to install this, right? Okay, so we'll go back to our app. Okay, I'll open the terminal, and let me open a new one. Okay, so I'm just going to install this. So let's go back. What again we need to do? We need to have env file, okay, and put in all of these credentials. So it's a good thing to put your files, secret files inside a .env file. Okay, so I'm just going to say .env.local. Okay, and whenever you do that, just make sure you check in the git ignore and see that here, yes, env.local, or even you can just say env. Make sure it's here so that you don't push it to GitHub. Okay. Okay, so I'll put it here and go back here. It says that inside the layout file, we need to wrap our app around with Clerk provider. Okay, then we can also install this. So I also import this. Not we must install it. Okay. So I'll go inside the here and here. Okay, so but we'll be using Clerk and Expo as a way of doing, but for now, let's just say Clerk provider. Okay. Okay, that's fair. So it is still installing. Okay, so so once we do that, we install this, and yeah, so we need to put the token, also pass our token right to it. That's why we are going to install this package, right? Because the token will be cached and stored into the local storage, right? Expo secure storage, right? And just retrieve it once we load the app again, and we don't have to log in all the time when we come back or visit the app again. Okay, so if you also want to create a sign up where you can use email and password, right? You can just follow this guideline here, right? By creating a sign up page, a sign in, a sign up page also here, and here is also a sign up button, right? Okay, so where you can use Clerk to sign out. Okay, great. And I think that's all. Home. Okay, so maybe we can continue to the docs. And there is a docs for I don't know if I can see Convex, Convex and Clerk. I don't know. I think there's a docs like that. Converse with Clerk. Oh, with Clerk. Okay, I think it's this one. Okay, so we're going to use that because when we log in at Clerk, right? When we log in at Clerk, there's going to be one issue, and the issue will be that our user will not be synced to. Okay, so now let me install the Expo Secure Storage. Okay, so here it says now we need to. I'll come back to the Convex and Expo issue token cache. Okay, and this. Okay. Okay, so here. I'll come back to the other one, but for now, let me go here first. Okay, so this is imported from here, right? Okay, so let me import it from here. Okay, here. Oh, I copied something different. This one. I need this one. Yes. Okay, great. So now the token is being stored there. So our token will be stored there. And this will by default pick our environment variable. So please make sure the name is Expo Publish. Start with Expo Publish and it should be the same, else this thing will not work. Okay, great. Okay, so once we're able to log in, right, we'll have a little bit of an issue because our user will not be synced to Convex, right? So in order to solve that, Expo and Convex has a way where we need to use a webhook to sync the user data. Okay, so but then let me do this. Clerk loaded. Okay, make sure you import this. We must make sure that before we load every other thing, Clerk is loaded. Okay, great. Yeah, that should be it for now. And that should be it for now. Oh, right. Yeah, I think so. We can even do something called I'm going to put this one here and this one also go up a little. Okay, great. Okay, great. So one thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to check and see that. So here, use Auth. So here we can check and see if the person is logged in or not, right? So here by saying that use Auth from Clerk, use Auth, which is coming from Clerk Expo, right? And we can see if the user is signed in, right? And also is loaded. Okay, great. So we can use these things to detect whether your user is signed in or not, because we need to protect our pages. Okay. Now we can also check the segment where the user is on the page, right? So I'm going to call it segment. Then we use something called use segment also from Expo. Okay, now we need to make sure that we're protecting our page. So I'll create a protected. Yes, and inside the protected, we'll have tabs. Then inside the tabs, we'll have the index.css, right? And RNF. Okay. I like to make it I don't know, but I just like to make it ES6 cons index. Yes. Okay, I like to have it like this. Okay, make sure you import this from React Native. Also import test from React Native. Okay, great. Now, so in order to protect this page, right? So that's what we're going to do here. So yeah, so that's where we're going to use a segment to detect where the user is. So you can see that we have the various segments here. Okay, and now you can see that I did something here by saying that I place parentheses, then the folder name. Now this will not be included in the URL. So if you're familiar with Nest.js, right? Then here you know that when you put, these are just called route groups, right? To group a particular route, so it will not be part of the URL itself. So that's why I place a parenthesis. So you can just search on the Expo docs. Okay, so Expo docs, and maybe you can check on what's called route. I think route group. Um, mm, 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 mm. Okay, so yeah, you can do groupings, route group. I don't know where to find it, but there's something called I think yes. Okay, so you can see here. So for instance, this it's a group where we can have various routes inside the home here. So the home is a group. Okay, great. So it's just here. Okay, so we can go back and oh, I need to change this. It ought to be this way. Okay, so in here, yes, we have this tab, and we'll also have a modal group. So I'm just going to say modals. Okay, so the pages we want it to open like a modal will be here. Okay, so great. Okay, and inside the route group, sorry, the protected page, I'm also going to have a different layout, right? So the layout will be like, a common thing for all of them. So here, I'm going to say cons protected layout. Okay, great. Here, okay, great. And here it's where I will return all the stacks. So stack from Expo, great. Okay, so make sure you import stack from Expo router. Okay, so great. So how do we protect all of these pages? So that is what we were doing. So let's go back here. So this segment will help us to protect all the pages, right? Okay. Okay. So to do that, we need to first check if the app is still what do we have to do? It's loaded. Okay, so if it's not loaded, we'll return now, right? And we can use a use effect instead. Let's use a use effect. So use effect. Okay, so like this. Okay, so inside here, what I'm going to say is that I'm going to check if, let's first check if it's loaded. It's still false, right? If it's false, we will not have to, we just return. Okay, then let's check whether the user is in the protected page. So I'm going to say in protected route. Okay, great. So in a protected route, I'm going to say that the segment, right, should be equal to segment, then index 0, then the protected. Okay, if you are not inside it, right, so first we need to check that if the user is signed in, right? If you are signed in and you are not in protected route, right? So meaning you are signed in but you're in a different page, then we will put you back to that page. So import router from Expo router, right? And just say replace. Now there are methods like the Expo router has a method like push and replace, right? So the push will just push it to that page and you can come back to the previous page. But with the replace, you cannot come back to the previous page. So once we've moved the user from this home page to the inside the app, right? When the user is logged in, the user cannot come back to this page again to log in, right? So unless the user logs out. Okay, so that's why we're using the replace. Okay, so I'll just say slash, then we'll go to protected, then tab. Okay, so oh my goodness, so that was a bad spelling. Let's see if I can change it. Protected. Let me stop this from running. Oh, I have changed a lot of stuff. So protected. Okay, so okay, so then this should be protected. Oh, okay. So also, let me remove this for now. Okay. So also we need to check else if the user, right, it's not signed in, meaning the user is not signed in, but for whatever reason it is, the user finds him or herself inside the routes group, then we need to bring the user back, right? Okay, so we need to also replace and move the user to the home page, yes, because the home page is also our sign up page. Okay, and we're going to yeah, okay, maybe we can just leave it to this one. Okay, so whenever the sign in changes, we will fire this thing again. Okay, so that should be pretty fine, and I think that's all for here. Once we add to Clerk, we will now come back here. Okay, so I think that's fine. So let me reload the app from here and see. Let's try to log in and see if it will work. But before we do that, before we do the login, let's check the documentation. Okay, so Clerk Expo docs. Let's see. Okay, so Clerk Expo SDK. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I should have taken this one. This one. Okay. Yes. So go to, yeah, here, this one. Okay. So you can just select the framework from here. Okay. So we've done all of these things. We've installed the package. We've done this and we've also installed this. Okay. So yeah, we've also done all of these things. This one's here has been done. Okay. So to sign in with sign in and sign up, Auth. Okay. So to use social logins, right? Like Google and stuff, okay, make sure Expo is here. Okay, this is what we need to do. Okay, so we need to use the browser thing to warm up the browser. So first, let's copy this thing here. Go back to our code and come up here on top here and put this in here. Oh, I copied something wrong. I don't know why. Okay, copy here and I'll put it here. Okay, so you're just saying that we just need to warm up the browser. Okay, so make sure you import use effect, right? So use warm up browser, that's the function name. And now we need to import this Expo web browser, okay, web browser, so that we can use it. See that this preloads the browser for Android, right, devices to reduce the authentication load time. Okay, so you can just refer to here to the repo for that. And we need to import this here. I don't know whether that package has already been there. It's there. I believe so. Expo web, yeah, it's there already. So if you go in the packages, you can just search for web browser, Expo web browser. It's here already. Okay. Okay. So what next after this? Now we can call this function here. So on top now, yes, when the page loads, we call the function, and we can also do this here, right? And okay, let me copy this one as well. Okay. Okay, so this now we also call the warm browser app. Now we're going to use social login. So instead of the old one where we're using use of, now we use SSO. Make sure you import it from Expo Clerk, Clerk Expo. Yes, it's Clerk Expo, not Expo Clerk. Okay, it's where we destructed the start OSS flow. Okay, what again do we need to do? And on press function, okay, we can call this here. Okay, and I'll just put that one also here. Okay, so what are they doing? They're using callback here. So callback here, it says that we need to start the authentication process by calling the start OSS flow, which is this one. Okay, so we're saying that we start it, we await it, right? And the strategy we want to use is we want to use Google authentication. So whatever you want to use, right? So if you just do this, you can see there are a lot of providers here. So whichever one you want to use, you can just call that, right? So depending on which button you're using, then you can just pass in that. So I'm going to use Google. So yeah, Google. And we'll get the create session ID. We get the set active, we get the sign in and the sign up, right, from this method. Okay. So here, once we've done, we also need authentication section. Let me see. Okay, so we also need Expo session here. We'll also bring this one up here. Okay, so this is also installed already, right, when we created the app. So once it goes in, it says that we'll use the session and make a redirect URL, right? Okay, great. So you can just read these comments here. Now, once the login is successful, it says if sign-in was successful, right, set the active section to true. So we just set the active section, which is this one, to true. Okay. And if it's not also, if there is no create section ID, right, then we can do whatever we want to do here. Okay, great. So this one, now we can just go and try it and see. So I'll make sure then it's here. And okay, so let me reload it again and see. Okay. Okay, so I think there's something that is missing. I think this one, I think is missing default export. Is there already? So what is the issue? Okay, this one. Oh, yeah, this one. Okay, so I need to make sure I put the default export here so that I can get rid of this error one in here that was getting here. Okay, so if I click on this, right, then we're just going to perform the login function. So I'll go onto the touchable opacity, and this has a method called onPress. You see, in web development where you say on click, but here you're actually pressing it on your phone, right? I think that's pretty cool. You're pressing it. Okay, so let me save it and press it and see. Okay, so now you see it opens the web, and I need to log in. So I'll click this, and let's see. Okay, so now we are here, and you see that we are redirected to the index page. So if we go inside the tabs and index page here, right, maybe we can try to see if we can get, okay, use let's say use auth from Expo Clerk, and what are the details that comes. Okay, we can get something like the user ID. Let's see if we can. Let's see. So let me reload and see whether we'll be redirected to the, so you can see we are redirected there, and you see now it's true that we are signed in. That's beautiful. Now, how do we bring in Convex so that the user information will be stored into Convex? So just go to Convex, and okay, so go to Convex, and okay, I'm logged in already. Just go to convex .dev. Yeah, convex.dev, and sign in, create an app, right? Okay, just sign in. When you sign in, that should be all. So I have yes, this was the old app that I was using, right? Okay, but we can refer to the Convex docs. Okay, so Convex docs, and let's see. Let's go to the docs, and in the docs, start building. And okay, so let's start building. Click on start building, and okay, here. Oh, no, not this. Okay, so yeah, framework. So the frameworks are here. Okay, great. So click on the quick start. So yeah, I think I'll put the links in the description to make it easy. So just select, do we have Expo? Yeah, select React Native. Okay, so React Native here. And what is saying that we need to create the app, which we've done that, cd into the app, and just run this command, right? So first, let's install Convex. So I'll open a new terminal and say npm install Convex. Okay, so once it's installed, then we run nps convex.dev, right? Okay, so let's jump on and see. Okay, so now done here. So you have to run nps convex dev, right? Okay, and when you run this and you're not logged in, it will first ask you to log in, right, by opening the link that will be provided in the browser, right, and logging into your Convex account, and that's all. Okay, so when you've logged in successfully, you see this. You either create a new project or choose a project. So you can use the arrow up and down. So I'll create a new project and use the tab to select it. Make sure it's selected and you press enter. Okay, so it's just suggested a new name. I'm just gonna say chat YT. Okay, so yeah, okay, so it has created and has added these variables to our env. So maybe we can check, go to our env file and see. Now we have these two. We have convex deployment and convex url, right? Okay, great. So we have these two here. So now you can see that convex is running now. It's just running. When you see this status, see convex functions ready. Okay, so what we can do is that we can go back to our browser here, go to convex and check to see. Okay, we can check our app. You can see we have the YT here. So I can select that, right? Okay, and there are two things. Okay, so you can see that this is in production, but I'm just going to switch to click on the word production here, right? And make sure you switch to this one so that it will be in development and not in production. Okay, great. So now we don't have any data or anything, right? We don't have anything here. So how do we create tables or tables in Convex? So here, I'm going to make this big so you can see. Now you can see that we have a folder here called Convex, right? Okay, so I'm going to create a file called schema.ts. Okay, so when you look here, you can see that we have these generated files, right, where we have the various APIs, of Convex. Okay, so and the server, so everything it's in here. We don't have to worry about it. What we have to worry about is how to create our schema and stuff. Okay, so I can close at this and leave this one. Okay, so how do we create the Convex schema? Okay, so to create the schema, we just need to say that export cons. Okay, so define schema. Okay, define schema. Okay, so define schema, and now like this, and this needs to be imported. Okay, I think, okay, so it needs to be imported from convex/server. Okay, great. And now one thing we need to do is, now that here inside this is where we are going to have the various schema. So we'll just say users, right? And I'll say define table. Okay, and the define table has also been imported already. Okay, we open the parentheses and an object, and now we need to put the various fields. So each user will have name, and the name will be of type v, which should also be imported from convex values, right? Okay, v.string. Okay, so like this. Each user will also have email, which will also be a string. Okay, each user will have an external ID, or let's say the clerk ID. So clerk ID, this. Okay, and note that all these are required fields. Okay, great. We also have image URL, which the image URL in this instance can be optional. So how do we get something which is optional? Here, we just have to say optional. Then inside the optional, we pass that it will be type string, right? So optional parentheses, then inside we say is v.string. I hope that's it. You get it. Okay. We can also have something like username, which will also be optional at the beginning. We can have phone number, which is also optional. And we can have something like last seen, optional. But last seen, it's not going to be a string. We want to make it a number because it is the date, right? Okay, great. Then we have something like it's online, also optional, which is going to be a Boolean, true or false. Then we also have friends, right? So if you remember, as I told you that you can add people as your friends, right? So v.optional, because at the beginning it's going to be empty. And inside the option, I will say it should be an array of strings. So I think you get the idea, right? How it's going. Okay. And if you save it, check your browser and make sure the Convex dev is still running, right? If you get errors here, then you should know that there's a problem. So let's make sure it checks and see if everything is fine. Okay, so you can see that it's working, right? So if you go back to your Convex dashboard, you should see that now we have a table called users. Okay, great job. So what's the rest? What are the rest? The rest will be, now here we can add index for fast searching, right? So we can say that we can have index by clerk ID, right? So we see index, then the index name is by clerk ID and the field name is clerk ID. Okay, we can have more by just saying .index, just chaining them like that, right? And this one will be username, email, right? You can have all of these things here. You can even add more, right? You can add as, no, I'm just going to say by phone number, right? Yeah. Do I need to search by friends, right? This will make searching be a little bit fast. Okay, great. Now that we're done with that one, we can move to another one, which will be, let's say, the chat. So I'm just going to say chat, then define table, okay, parenthesis, curly braces, right? Okay, so each chat will have the name, which is v.string. Do I have something wrong? Yeah, this one. Okay, great. So each chat will have name. The chats can have description. Is that needed? Okay, so I'm going to make that one optional. I'm not sure why I kept in something called description for chat. Okay, so I'm going to say it's group, so which will be Boolean. Okay, then participants, okay, which will be an array, right? So like the members in that chat. And we can also have created by. So if it's group, we have the created by, and this created by should be okay, let's just make it a string. And we also have maybe created at, which will be a number, and any updated at will also be a number. That's the date. And I'm going to say something like combined user IDs. Okay, no, it's just going to be a string, but optional. So I want to combine the user's ID so that when you want to create the ID again, we can just easily find out if that chat already exists, if it is not a group chat. Because during the development, what I found was that the array here, we are not able to search to see whether the user exists in the array. That okay, but if you find a way that can be done, then we can remove this and just directly search and filter the records by this, right? Okay. So yeah, that is it. Here we can also have index. So I'm just going to say index. So the index that is set by combined IDs. Okay, that's fine. We can also do by participants and what again? Yeah, I think that should be pretty fine. No, let's also do another one where we'll do by the updated at, so that we can sort the records updated at. Okay, so now let's also have messages. So okay, so messages. So each message will have the chat ID. There will be the text, which is a string. And since you can send image alone, this is going to be optional, right? Because you can send only image. Okay, and I'm going to say media, right? So media will be v.optional. Okay. Okay, so optional. Then since it's optional, we also gonna have a v array. We can have a list of them. So this, okay, great. So inside it, we'll have v.object. So it will be an object, right? So each image that we'll send will be an object, and we'll have various things. So we'll first have the storage. storage ID because we'll be storing it in Convex storage. So we'll need the storage ID, okay, which must be there. We'll need the storage. Okay, we'll need the type of the asset, right? Okay, or the image, or yeah. We also need maybe file name, file type, and name. What's different? I'm just gonna say this should be meme type. Okay, so this and all of them can be optional. So right from this should be optional. Optional. Great. So yeah, so there's no need of file URL. It's not needed. Okay, let me put something called duration. Maybe that's for the video, right? Because we can also upload videos. And dimension, also optional, and it will also be an object of width and height. Okay, so let me go over it again so that you can understand. So each media will be, we can have multiple, meaning you can send multiple files, right? So we can have, and each one will have these fields, right? Which is, we have the storage ID, we have the type, right, of the, and we also have the main type, whether it is video or image. We also have the main type itself. We'll have the file size. We have the name and the duration if it's a video, and dimensions, right? Okay, great. You can, format it according to your need. And now we'll also have the user ID, meaning the user that is sending that particular message. Created at and updated at. I don't think will be needed. This will be needed. Okay. So I'm also going to put index here, which will be just by the chart. Chart. So I can remove this ones here. Okay. So by chart ID, chart. Yeah, that's fine. And what again we can have? So we can also have something called stories. Okay. So now we're left with stories and messages. So, okay. So stories and messages, I'm just going to put that one here. So how do we do the story? So each story will also have the user, right? And there's also going to be the type, and the type, we are going to merge two fields, right? Or types, data types. So it can either be literal, right? Literal, or it can be, we are saying that it can be literal like in image or video or text, right? For now, we will not do the text story, but you can do it. So it can either be this or that, right? Okay, so we're using union. It can be any of this. Okay. And we also have the content. We also have the storage ID, the duration if it's a video, and we also have the dimension like we did. Then we have the created at, and we also have the expire at, right? Meaning that each story should expire at 24 hours. That's right. Yeah, something like WhatsApp. And we also have the views, which will be an array of the index of each user that views and is active. Yeah, when it expires, it will be false. Okay, then also the sequence. The sequence will be that if the user uploads more, right, more stories, we will know the sequence in which it should go. And if it is more, then we'll have like the group ID. Okay. So that we know the stories that are related. Okay. And also we also have these indexes. And this is also the message. Did I create the message? I'm not sure I created a message. Okay, I'm not sure I created a message, but here, okay, so here will be the messages status, right? To track messages, whether message has been sent or not. Okay, great. So stories, chat. Oh, okay, messages are here. Yeah, we're done with message. Oh, we're done with the message, so that's fine. Okay, so check here and see it's still running, and go here to also see that you have them here. Brilliant. Okay. So in the next session, we will find out how we can now sync the user data into our users here. Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, welcome back. So in this section, we are going to see how we can get the user data from Clerk to our to our database. So I'm just still going to search for Convex Clerk. So there was so Convex Clerk. Okay, so there was some awesome article I read about it, right? And let me see. Okay, so I'm going to say sync Clerk data to Convex Expo. Let me add that one. Okay, and okay, I think it was this one. Let me see. Okay, so there was this article here. Great, says that we need to use webhooks, right? Okay, so what we need to do is that it just uses webhooks. So when the user is created there, it will just trigger an endpoint, right? And it will call it inside our app, okay? So that it will be inserted into our database. So what we need to do that is, so we need to go into the Convex and create this http.ts file. Okay, so inside Convex, create a file called http.ts. Okay, so here we can just perhaps copy this and put it here. Okay, so what we're doing here is, here we need to import the HTTP action from Convex. Okay, now I was having a problem, right, using the validation, because I wasn't able to do the validation because I wasn't able to read the EMV file. I don't know why. Maybe I found it a little problem. So I'm not going to do that one here for now. Okay, so what I'll do is this, also import this here. Okay, so let's continue and see. And here we'll also have a switch case, right? So the switch case to determine the event type, right? So to determine the event type, so we can bring this one here. Okay, so where you see the switch case here, we can put this switch case here. Okay, so how do I even get the event? Okay, so here is how you can get user and potential. I think I am missing something. Let's do it this way. So here, okay, so here, HTTP, okay. So I'm going to do it this way. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to say yes here. HTTP, was it HTTP action? HTTP action. Okay, so this ought to be HTTP action ought to be imported from HTTP action, which is going to be from generated. Yeah. Okay, so it ought to be like this. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, so here ought to be HTTP action, right? Where we get the context and the request. Okay, great. So here, what we're going to do is that I'm going to get the event through the request. So I'm just going to say await request.json, right, to get the event. Okay. And if there is no event, maybe we can just say, okay, so here, the event that we're going to get will be the user created or user updated and user deleted. You can do anything that you want to do here, but I'm not sure I'm going to do anything for user deleted. Okay, so I'm not going to do the user deleted. So yeah, but I'm going to do this one here. Okay, so in here, we're going to use run mutation, right? So that we'll run mutation, and this is going to be an internal mutation. So make sure you import internal mutation, internal. Okay, so internal should also be coming from generated API. Great. Okay, so here, then we'll have user, then maybe update or create user. Yeah, should that be the name? We can just say create user. Yes, we just want to create user. Okay, create user. Okay, and now the details that we'll pass will be I'm going to say we'll pass clerk ID, which should be equal to event.data.clerk.id. We'll also pass the email. Okay, so the event.data.email addresses Yes, it's an array. So we get the first one and we get the email. Then this will be the name, right? Okay, so first name and last name. And we can even do something like this. So if there is no name, we will not have now there. We'll also check if the image is there, right? So image, and if there's username, we also have the username. Okay, great. So something like this. Okay, so how do we create that mutation? So I'm just going to say users.ts. Okay, great. Users.ts. Okay. And in this, I'm going to say export cons, the name was create user. Okay, great. And this is going to be internal mutation. Okay, internal mutation, because with this one, the user is not even, we are now trying to log in the user, and this is running at the backend. So internal mutation. Okay. And we take something called arguments here. Okay, so the argument will be, so we have the clerk ID. So make sure V is also imported from convex values. We have the email, we have the name, we have URL, and we also have this. Okay, so the URL, this can be optional. So let's not forget that username can also be optional. Okay, then we have something called the handler. So in the handler, that is where we'll do the action itself, and we get the context and the arguments here. Okay, so inside here, we'll say that cons existing user should be await, then we use the context to access the DB. So the DB dot, then DB dot query. I'm going to use query. So query, then the DB is users. Okay, so users, then we're just going to say find, oh my goodness. So I'm just going to say with index rates. So with the index that we use, what was the index? The index should be by, we can use by username. So we need to perform the action to see if the username is there, right? Okay, if the username has been used, then we need to find something different. Then we'll also get this query, and okay, call this, says that kill dot equal to, right? If kill dot equal to, so we're using the index by username, and say that if kill is equal to the field username, right? Okay, so if we search by the username and this username passed here is equal to that field, that means that the user already exists, right? And we need to pass in the value that we receive. We're searching by the field username, and the value will be dot username. Okay. Let me break this down. I think I can even do it this way. Okay, so something like this. Then we can just say first, meaning we only need the first one. Okay. There seems to be a parenthesis missing. Okay, I think one should be here again. Yes, great. So we're checking by the username, and if it exists, right? If it exists, we can throw an error that says, if user exists, we can throw an error that says username already exists. Okay, let me make this as username. Okay, then we can do same for existing email, right? Okay, so same thing. We check by the email, and if it exists, we can throw an error that says that user email already exists. Okay, so we can do same to find out, you know, all of them, because we want the username to be unique and the email to also be unique, and for sure the clerk ID will also be unique. Okay, however, we can also do same for it for let's make sure that that also exists. So okay, I think Keza is doing too much. Yeah, it's doing too much than I expected. So yeah, so okay, so existing clerk ID. So also check by it to make the query faster. See that user already exists. Okay, what if all of these things are false, meaning we need to create the user? So now let's create the user. If all of these things are false, so I'm just going to say const user ID will be equal to await, okay, ctx.db, okay, dot insert. Okay, So we insert into which table? User. Okay. Okay, great. And now we need to pass in the argument. So I'm just going to spread it since the fields are the same. The field names are the same. And I'm going to add the username. Okay. So I'm going to say it should be the username or email, the email. No, let me use the name instead. Okay, if there is no username, we'll put the name here. Okay, and what we can do again is to say that we can return the user ID, right? Okay, great. So we have successfully created the user. And let's go here. If we go here to check, you can see that now this function actually exists, right? Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to do some few things. So I can close this thing and go back to the docs. Again, we need to create the webhook. So go here and go to configuration. Inside the configuration, now you can see we had one user. We have one user. We sign in here. Yes, but our database is empty. Okay, so how do we do it? Let's go here to configuration and go to webhooks. So webhooks. Okay. Okay, I think there's something missing that I need to find out. Okay, so okay, so here, yeah, let's follow this one. It says that create a JWT template. Okay, great. That was what was missing. So here, go to JWT template. Great, here. And in the JWT template, yes, new, just click on new and make sure you select convex. Okay, so convex, and per them, don't change this name, let it be convex. Okay, so let's go back. So yeah, won't change anything. And yeah, the convex template will, yeah, that's all. And I think configure convex client to issue. Okay, so okay, so now we need to get this information. So here we will need to have the, you see that we have the issuer and we also have the JWT endpoint. Okay, so according to this docs here, it says that configure converse with Clerk issuer domain. Okay, great. So we need to create this file inside our convex. Okay, so inside convex, I'll create this file. Okay, and copy something, this one, and put it here. Okay, so we need to change this, the domain, and yeah. So here it's saying that yeah, your issuer URL, right, should be here. So where is the issuer? Yeah, this one should be here. And put a / okay, and this one should be convex. Okay, great. Now what again? So now that you're now here, it says that we place the domain string with the issuer URL in your issuer URL you copied. Okay, yeah, that's this one. Okay, and you need to run convex this. We need to install Clerk React. Okay, we're using Expo, so yeah. And you can have these publishable keys. Okay, so they are all there. We're done with all of these things. Now we need to use something called converse with Clerk provider. Okay, so let's go back here and make sure we save this. Okay, so it's here. And now I need to go to the layout, right? So here and this layout. Okay, and now inside here, we need to use the Clerk with converse. Okay, so before the app, so I'm going to remove the fragment this time and put something called convex provider with Clerk. Okay, which will also take something called the use auth, which will be the use auth, and also the client, which will be Convex. Okay, so how do we get this thing? Okay, so as per the instruction here, we were supposed to install something called Clerk React. I don't know if I did, if it's there already. So let me try to import it and see. Okay, so Converse, yeah, okay. So we installed Converse already. So it came with React Clerk. Okay, so here, yeah, this has already been imported, which is from Clerk Expo, and Convex should now be. We need to get the our API, right, or domain. So what I'm going to say is that this should also be coming from Converse React. So I'm just going to say, okay, this is from Converse React, right? Okay, and we're getting the process.em file. So make sure this name is the same as the name here, right? This one. So Expo public converse URL should be Expo public converse URL, and we are just saying that on saved changes, warning should be suppressed or false. Okay, and that one is passed here. Okay, great. So I believe our app is still running. We have a bunch of errors. Okay, so maybe I can just close. Which one is this? Here I'm getting this. Okay, let me just close everything, and also make sure I close this one. Okay, I am going to also delete this. Okay, so first I'm going to say nps convex dev and to make sure Convex is running smoothly. And I also run npx expo start clear. Okay, so let me keep an eye on this one and see. Okay, so having this problem says that unable to push deployment config to this. Okay, I think it's in the HTTP here. I think it's here. Okay, anyway, let me just finish with the webhook first. Okay, so this here. Okay, so let's finish with the webhook. Okay, so after we're done with that, we need to create okay, we're done with all of this. Okay, so now let's go to the webhook here. Webhook, okay, this, and create an endpoint. Click to add an endpoint like this. Okay, so okay, here, so here we need to get the URL, right? Okay, so now let's create a webhook. So make sure you go to webhooks here, right? So we need to get and click on create a new one, right? So we need to put the URL, right? And if you go to your Convex, go to the, okay, I think, okay, yeah. So go to settings, right? So in the settings, you see URL and deployment keys. So just go and copy the HTTP action URL, right? So you can use this one. Okay, then come here, and that one should be the first one, right? I put that one, then / this endpoint here, right? Okay, click users that, and we said we want to listen to so we can search for user. Okay, so we said we want to listen to user created and user updated. Okay, so we can just say create. Okay, great. So here, okay, so there's a sign secret here, right? So if you're gonna use the you're gonna do the validations, right? In the webhooks here, right? If you're gonna do the validation here, then you need that key here, this key, right? Okay, you need that key. Okay, so you just have to copy it. Now, if we go to yeah, if we go to, okay, so we don't have any event for now. So yeah, we can just simulate it and see. Okay, so if I click on it here, there is no data. So maybe I will delete the user, create it again, and see if it will work. Okay, so let's go back to our app and see. Okay, so let me make sure I reload my app and see. Okay, so let me also see if this one is also working. Okay, so let's make sure our Convex also runs successfully. Then we can try it and see. Okay, so I think the issue is here. Where are we getting that? So it must have a default export. Oh, okay. So once we are done, we just need to say export the default HTTP. Yeah, great. So okay, so it's right now. So I'll try login again and see. Okay, so let's go to, okay, so now you can see that I think the webhook was triggered, right? So you can see here. So I think the webhook was triggered. Okay, so there's a path username. There's a problem there. Okay, great. So I think it was triggered. So maybe even we can put a console log here and log the event and say event received here, right? Okay, great. So what we can do is go here, open this, and go to the configurations here and check for the webhook. Okay, so go to webhooks, and in the webhooks there should be an event. Okay, so if I click on this, okay, so you can see that yes, there's an activity, right? An attempt here. So you can see that it failed. Okay, so both fail. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to try it again. Okay, so I can. Why is it? Oh, okay. Okay, so I can just click on this dot and just do resend. Okay. And if we go here, okay, so now you can see that the event is here. So let's see. Okay, so we have the event received. There's the data, right? Okay. And the data has all of this information. Okay. Okay, so all of this, but I think it failed in the this place here where it says that validations value does not match validator, but username value now your string. Okay, so I think the issue is now from here, right? Somewhere here. Okay, so what we can do is that perhaps we can just say we can console log the arguments here. Okay, so here, did we get username, which is optional? Okay. And let's go here and check. Do we send username? Okay, or maybe can just say now, right? Okay. Okay, so maybe I can open here and retry this again. Okay, so let's wait for this to check everything first. Okay, so I can resend, and now let's see. Okay. So this one here, so I can remove this one for now. All of this, and when you come to, okay, so now here inside the create user, right, we're getting the Clerk ID, we're getting the email, we're getting this, we get the username, and this is now. Okay. Okay, so I think we're still having an issue, right? Okay. Error email already exists. Oh, okay, meaning it might have been saved. Okay. So we can go here into our database. Okay, here, and let's go into data, user. Oh, okay. So the user has been saved. So maybe I can delete it. Okay, great. Go here. When you reload, I think you can see, let's see if it was successful indeed. Okay, so you can see, I think one was successful or sending, one is still sending. So you can see this one was successful. Okay, so let me send again. So resend. Okay, so I believe it's resent. It's sent. So let's see. Okay, so that one was also successful. And if we come here, now you can see the data is also here. Okay, and yeah, it was also logged here. Great. Okay. And so I just make sure if this does not exist, I send now there. Okay, so now I can remove this. So now we have the user data inside our database. So now we'll begin with the home page, right? Or yeah, the chat page.